Does the name Trevor Bauer sound familiar to you, Kevin?
It absolutely does because, as we all know, even though I'm wearing not that particular uniform at the moment, I'm a Dodger guy.
Correct. So
That
Trevor Bauer,
yes,
who is a former, I think, is a two-time Cy Young winner.
he's a one-time. I believe maybe. Well, hold on, because I
Fact
was
check
reading about this and it said he won the Cy Young in 2020
with Cincinnati, right?
with Cincinnati. Which, if you win the Cy Young and pitching in Cincinnati, you probably should get two just for that pitching in that ballpark. And so,
Yeah.
but then he signed with the Dodgers, and that went sideways almost immediately.
Let me Google this real quick. Give me a second. Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
Internet, please help.
Yeah.
Wikipedia, because that possibly can't do anything wrong.
No.
He is one-time Cy Young
Okay,
winner
that's what I thought.
with Cincinnati. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Because he pitched for Cleveland, I believe, before that, and pitched well.
Really good for Cleveland.
Yeah,
Really
so,
good.
So that entices Cincinnati, and then this has got to be. Everybody talks about the Dodgers and everything else, but this is a dark page in their history.
So, okay. For those who do not remember the Trevor Bauer case,
right,
that happened, which is case in quotes,
right,
because there's since been text messages and emails that Trevor Bauer brought to light himself in Japan that basically proved his innocence. Which
there was never any charges, there were never any convictions, there was never any of that.
Which, by the way, comes to show, fellas, let this be a lesson. Don't stick your in crazy.
Correct. Keep it in your pants.
Let there be a lesson.
That's right.
Because there's a whole other discussion. There's a whole other, there are depths to this, but Lindsey Hill basically framed this guy, to Trevor Bauer, to try and get millions and millions and millions of dollars off of him.
Yeah, not the first person to try that, of course.
Not the first person to do that, but Trevor Bauer basically came out a few years ago and said, yeah, this is all bullcrap. None of this ever happened. Here's text messages to prove it. We're getting off track here. Trevor Bauer spent the last few years in Japan and Mexico.
Right. And this is after he served 198 game suspension.
By Major League Baseball, yes, with the Dodgers.
For Major League Baseball, and the Dodgers let him go even though they owed him literally millions and millions of dollars.
Correct.
And then he kind of just free-floated. He pitched in Mexico and Japan.
Played well, too.
You're right. And kept saying, hey, I deserve a second chance. And I always have an issue with somebody that says everybody deserves a second chance. I don't believe that's true. Everybody may deserve, a chance to get a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever it is that you need a second chance for, if you haven't changed your behavior, you don't deserve a second chance.
That I agree with. So, which brings us to this. Trevor Bauer signed with the Atlantic League independent team, which is a minor league team here on Long Island, the Long Island Ducks, which I think is hysterical because there's literally like 15 minutes down the road from where I am.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
You revealed this when we were discussing it back in the our private screening room, but because I was curious when I heard this and I saw Long Island, if you even knew who this was. And you do, obviously.
Oh, here's the thing, and I am a big proprietor of if people will change if they want to change, and if you did something stupid. And if you admit to doing something stupid and you're willing to change after doing something stupid, then cool. And if you have changed, awesome. That's even better. Trevor Bauer was never really, proven to be doing the things that he was accused of doing.
Right. And also because from every report I've seen, he wasn't a good teammate.
Yeah.
That played into it too.
Correct. And
he was not good in the clubhouse, and he wasn't one of those guys that you gave high fives to.
No,
in the clubhouse and had a beer with and whatever else. But
at the same point, it's like if you own up to your mistakes and like, cool, that's fantastic. This is why I have a huge, gigantic effing problem with cancel culture.
Yeah.
Is because if you get canceled on Twitter, all of a sudden your life is over. Like, Jesus, come on. Come on, people. Like, he did nothing. He didn't do anything that he was accused of doing. He straight up didn't. And he's being punished for something he didn't freaking do.
Right. To this day.
Why guys like Rashee Rice walk away scot-free. Like, make it make sense, please. So I applaud the guys on the Ducks to have the cojones to be able to do this, even though, let's be honest here, this is a PR nightmare.
It potentially is, but there's going to be, if let's just say.
And I know the president.
If I was living where you're living.
Yeah.
Because he's going to pitch opening day, which is April 21st.
Correct.
If I was in Long Island, I would go just to see what kind of circus there's going to be around this.
The fans, the people that I've talked to, the fans are viewing this as, what are you doing? This is the worst day in Ducks history. Blah, 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 blah. This is such a bad thing.
I've read some of the things of Duck history. They have brought in some rather questionable characters.
It's not
in
great.
Their history.
It's not great.
To try and rehab their reputations or whatever.
It's
John Rocker being it.
Yeah, the most famous one
on that list, but
one of the more famous names on that list.
And
however,
so I would be fascinated, just as an observer, observer of sports, an observer of human behavior, an observer to see how his reaction is, and how well does he pitch, despite all of this. Would be something I would be very interested in experiencing.
It's not a bad ballpark, too. It's a great ballpark. It really is. It's small. It's not that bad. It's a great time over there.
Okay, so if I was there, we're going.
But the fans that you go to the games are like viewing this as, why would you sign this abuser? And which proves my point that cancel culture is bleeping stupid. But anyway, I don't know. This was one of those interesting moments. Let's call it that.
It was, because he's been, out there. He's been trying to champion himself to get a chance. And I thought, and I still think that he's not going to ever be in the major leagues again.
I disagree. And I'll tell you why. Because Marcell Ozuna.
Good point.
Still plays in this league.
Good point right there.
Aroldis Chapman.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Good points all. So, you're willing to make exceptions for a guy that can throw at 100 miles an hour.
Baseball is not necessarily clean in these things. Let's be honest here.
Well, sports in general, but
and you know the history of baseball better than I do,
right?
So there you go.
I say, let's see
what he can do. Why not?
That's right.
Screw it. Let's see what this guy can do.
He can do, and this is 5 years now or so.
It's been 5 years. Yeah,
right.
People can change in 5 years. You'd be surprised.
Right? And there's been people that have done less and went to jail and whatever, and he didn't.
Correct.
So let him get on with his life.